What's up, guys? So today we are in a different place that I don't show very often. We are inside of my garage. When we first moved here, we basically came out of our RV. If you see me pass our RV, I'll show you in a second. We lived in it for about 2 years after we sold our last house. And so we had all of our things in storage. And when we got here, we wanted to get everything out of storage, so we basically put everything inside the garage. And then we slowly moved stuff into the house, but the house was not finished, and we decided that we weren't going to finish the house because we wanted to focus on the outside and get the outside finished. I knew I wanted to garden this season and I didn't want to miss out, and so we had to start right away. So we started building my garden in December is when I put my first raised bed in the garden. But now that it's mid-July or end of July, almost into August, it's time for to think about back to school. It's time to where the garden's transitioning into fall crops, where I've already planted my fall crops. So really, I don't have a lot of things to do inside the garden, which is the time that I said that I would start working on inside house things. With the new year starting, we have lots of books that we need to go through. I was donated lots of books from previous homeschoolers that graduated their kids, and so I have a bunch of school books in here, school supplies in this garage, just from even accumulating them over the years that I have not went through. As you can see up here, this shelf came out of a storage, a shed that we have at the back, and we brought it in here. And we use this rack for all of my empty jars. But eventually, I do want to get this all moved into my glass room and get all my plant stuff out of my glass room into like a garden area. But for now, this is where all of my glass containers are at, as well as some paper, some tissue just left over. Anyway, on the next shelf right here, we still have lots of unpacked boxes. They're all school supplies, all books. Stuff that I don't need necessarily right now because we haven't started working on our inside, and so we don't have a bookshelf up. We don't have any shelving to put all these books, but I do want to go through them because like I said, school year is going to start again, and I know that I want to take out, my son's going to be going, he just finished his 9th grade year, so he'll be going into his 10th grade year, and I want to transfer out some books. My daughter Anaya will be going into her 5th grade year. And then I have Nehemiah as well, who's going to be moving up. And so I just want to see what I have before I start ordering new things. And in order to do that, I have to go through the school supplies. The school supplies are in cardboard boxes. And once I move those, I know that they're going to break. We already had boxes break. So what I did was I went to Walmart and I got all of these these storage containers this morning. I was gonna pick up 12, but I ended up getting 14 because that was the stack they had. And then I also got this larger one to replace this large one on the bottom because that's where we store our chicken layer feed in this container, but it has a hole at the side, and so food has been coming out. From the front, it's kind of hard to tell, but because we have this freezer here, but this all right here is the school shelf. All of these boxes and containers are just books and school supplies, and so that's the shelf that we want to get to today. So change of plans on seeing the RV because there is a toad or a frog in the door handle, and I'm not gonna move him. This is when I realized as editing that my audio went out for about 2 or 3 minutes. It will come back in, but I'm just going to do a voiceover at the moment. So I'm just going to begin by taking down all of my canning supplies, all of these canning jars, and I'm going to put them inside of my glass room because that's where I want them to be at permanently. In this first box that I pull down, I see that I have lots of canning supplies like lids and rings. And then I also find these rods that I used or I bought so we can put inside of our RV because they're tension rods. And if you know anything about an RV, when you're traveling, things like to fall down and jiggle. And so we had some of these, but I bought some more on Amazon. And as you can see, I didn't use them for keeping things from not moving. I also have this mason jar drinking lid because we do drink out of mason jars that I should bring inside the house. I'm actually going to donate these rods because I have no need for them. They're too small, and I think that's what happened in the RV. They were too small as well. I'm going to begin by just transferring all of this chicken feed into the new container. I'm just being honest and saying I did not want to do any of these things. I just felt like it was going to be one of those things that you spend all day doing it, and at the end it still looks like a hot mess. I know I've had days previously when I have a big task at hand, and then at the end of the day it just looks worse than when you started because you're trying to organize and separate things. And so that's exactly how I was feeling. But I decided that I was going to record and you guys were going to hold me accountable, and that maybe I could motivate someone else who's feeling the same way of just not wanting to do something because you're feeling overwhelmed. And so that's basically why I decided to tackle this, because it's something that I need to do, but I didn't necessarily want to do. On this particular day, my son Aiden was sick, as well as my youngest daughter Nael. They both were sick, and so it was basically just me doing this, and my husband was away, so I knew I couldn't count on him. At this point, I am letting you guys know that I called in reinforcements, which is my two daughters, Anaya and Nehemiah, to start moving those canning jars because I was already feeling defeated and like this was never ending. And so I asked them to help me so that it could go a little faster. They can definitely move things off the shelves for me, which I greatly appreciated. So it was so hot. I was drenched in sweat. It was so hot inside that garage, even though it was hotter outside. But this is the shelf that I really want to get to. This is the one that have all of the school supplies, all of the textbooks for school. And so this is the shelf that I'm really looking forward to getting to and organizing and looking through. So I have like these pop-out containers. Like this was a disposable dish drainer, but it was too big for our RV sink, and I have like these compactable, collapsible strainers that I had gotten, and then like this one, which you put, I guess, to drain noodles and stuff like that, or whatever you want it to drain, and you just set it. But our sink actually ended up being smaller, so we didn't use this. And it still has the tag on it, so I'm actually going to put this in the donation. All of these. So all of these boxes are the boxes that I got from my church from people who have homeschooled through the years and graduated kids. So I got these Rod and Staff books. And then I also have some Saxon math. One is a full math one. And then I'm not sure what this box is. Maybe some sciences. Yeah, some apologia I see inside there. So I definitely need to go through these. And I need to pull out what I'm going to use next year. But for now, I'm just going to get them out, get them in these bins because these boxes are broken, and clear these shelves. But as I'm doing that, I'm going to be looking at, okay, what do I have, so that I'm having a mental note on what do I have. And then also as I'm looking at them, I'm looking like, am I going to practically use this? Because sometimes I hold on to stuff thinking I might use it and then I don't, because I get overwhelmed during the school year trying to do everything. So I'm going to really be honest with myself and try to figure out what I'm actually going to use for the next few years. I'm sweating so hot. I can't even believe how much I'm dripping. It's just ridiculous. So far I have a bin of just school supplies that have never been used. Then I have house items here in this silver gray container. Then we have reading school books here. We have a donation here. We have a trash here. Right there has one of, these are actual textbooks that we'll need. And as I'm going through the textbooks, I'm looking at the ones that we don't need and putting them in the donation container. I just needed another container because we still have more textbooks down there in that corner. And I can see the Saxon math. And I'm going to start putting them in this container. I find it so amazing that all of these things are things that I went through, 3 years ago, to sell our house in August of 2019, and I thought that I needed it, was important, and now I'm going through it again, and I'm like, maybe not. You say for reading books? What'd you say? Those are reading books. There you go. So, what I like to do with my son when he was younger, to learn new words, because he had a hard time reading, is what I would write words on these index cards, and then I would like sound it out like so, st, like that. But I just wrote a bunch of words on these index cards. I haven't had to do that for my other two daughters, so I'm actually, and I don't know what grade level these are, so I'm gonna throw these away. And if I need them, I'll just create new ones. So while we're going through stuff, we found these cute little pictures. So my son Aiden, when he was like 3 or 4, Anaya, I thought she looked like a Cabbage Patch because she was so, her face was so circular and her eyes are close together. I'm like, oh, so cute. This was our first and only like professional family pictures together. We got these done when we lived in North Carolina. Oh, this was me and Aiden when I only had Aiden. So I was like 19 in this picture. So a lot of you say that I don't look old enough to have Aiden. So this is what I look like at 19. I had his birthday, I had just turned 19 because my birthday is August 4th and his is August 28th. So, baby me. So as we were cleaning up, I just found this book. So I used to sell tinctures and be really into like herbs and stuff. I still have a lot of my things that I used to make herbs, like tinctures, like my containers, and I still have some shipping labels and stuff I found here. But then I also found this New Menopausal Years, The Wise Woman Way, Alternative Approaches for Women 30 to 90. And it just had a bunch of problems in here. And then whatever you're dealing with, it had like extra things that you can do, like PMS. So yeah, I just thought that was cool. And I saw that, I was like, oh, I remember this book. Haven't seen it in like 3 years, but want to start getting back into my natural medicine and knowing, like, I still remember some of the basics, but I haven't studied in a long time. So okay, so it is later, a little bit later, maybe an hour later. I had to go inside, cool off, drink some water, eat a protein bar, just rehydrate because it was so hot in here. But I think, yes, we do have both of the shelves cleared off, so I'll turn you around and show you. So right here, I put all the trash that I have lined up. Then I have boxes for donation. And then we have both of the shelving cleared off. And now we're working on moving these, clearing these 2 containers of school books so that we can move the shelving down and then be able to put, this is a stand-up freezer right here, and then we'll be able to sit it against the wall. So far we're going on our 4th container of storage school books, and then we have one of just school supplies, which we're going to need a second one, and these are reading books. We're going to need a second one for reading books. We are finally at the part where this shelf is clear and this space is clear, so we can move this, let's get this box, this is trash, where we can move this shelf over to bump into this built-in shelf right here. And then we'll go ahead and move the second one, and then we should be able to fit this freezer, which makes me feel so nice because we've been at this for a long time. We've already used 3, 6, 9, 11 of our 12 of our containers, so that's nice. I didn't know if I bought too many And what we were going to do with extra ones, maybe return them, but looks like we actually might need more. So let me go ahead and start moving this next one down. So I actually realized that I'm not going to be able to move this freezer without like the dolly. I don't know where the dolly's at. I don't like doing that, so I'm going to wait for my husband to move this. But we do have the spot cleared, which is nice. I went ahead and put the 3 storage toilet papers that we have back up on the shelf, and I'm going to just try to get everything organized and all the trash out so that I can sweep in here, and then this will have to be a part 2, but I am excited with what we did get done. It's one of those projects that I say, like, you know, you take it all apart and at the end of the day it still looks crazy and there's junk all over the place and stuff all over the place, and you're like, I've been working at this all day and it's still not done, because that's what I feel like right now. I am glad that we got all of those boxes and looked at and everything thrown away that was trash. So this is our whole trash pile right here. We have our donation right here, and I've already started sweeping out. I still need to sweep in through here. But then we have all of our new containers with school supplies in them, and I'll label them once I get them back. I don't think we're gonna put them back on these shelves because they're pretty heavy, and when we did have them on the shelf, some of the shelves started buckling and falling, so I'm not sure about putting them back on the shelves. Another option I thought about was like stacking them under here or up here, because we do have this deck at the back in the garage coming out the back of our house, and maybe cleaning this and stacking them there. I think that would be a good option. We would have to get this. Now that I'm talking through this with you guys, I definitely think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get that area cleaned up. Right now we have all of those pools that I bought last season on clearance for like $2. I think they were like 20 of them or something. I'm not really sure, but they're all right there. We're using 2 for the ducks right now, and then I think I have like 4 in the garden, but we still have lots more, so I might that I wouldn't need, so I might see if if someone wants them to use as planters, or if I want to put any more in the garden. I'm just not sure about those. So I think the last thing I'm going to do before I call it complete this is put all of this trash inside of the truck, because we will have to bring this to the dumpster. It's just so it's not sitting on the patio, well, besides the TV, and probably put the donation stuff, if it could fit in the truck as well, put that in the truck, and then we'll bring that tomorrow morning and then finish working on this. I have to say that doing this with you guys has definitely made me feel a little better. It made it feel a little bearable, like we're in this together. Okay, I can officially say that I am done for the night. I'm waiting for my husband to get home so that he can move this freezer. So we still have these shelves empty. I have to think about what I want to do with these. We're going to move the freezer here, like I said. Then we have all of our storage containers filled, completely filled. I left these 2 boxes because they just had like canning supplies in them. And the last 2 containers I used to fill with glass jars. That's not gonna be their permanent home, but for now I just needed them to go in there. I still need to move this alfalfa and black sunflower seeds to the utility trailer. This is our brooder where we had turkeys, ducks, chickens, and we took out our turkeys, but we haven't cleaned it out, so we'll need to get this cleaned. And then we had another brooder here, and my husband used some of the wood, so it's kind of broken, so we want to get that out. So definitely still a lot of things that we need to do in here, but I am so happy to see that these shelves are clear and this will be not protruding in the middle of the garage. We were like trying to like walk by it and like between the brooders and the freezer, so it'll be nice and snug up against the wall, which is nice. And then we'll work on, I guess, a second phase of cleaning the shelves that I showed you earlier over there and stacking these containers. But it's so nice because I know what school supplies we have going into next year. We have lots of school supplies. I don't think I need to buy any school books or supplies. You guys saw that I did pick up some crayons and markers and glue. I could have probably went without the crayons. I did see that we had lots of crayons in our storage, but we didn't have that much glue and not a lot of markers, so those are good, which I'm so happy about. It just looks so good standing up clear right there and not just all the boxes protruding and falling and breaking. We have our 3 food containers that we feed our animals. So this one is for, I think this is for the goats and the rabbit. Sometimes we do feed him pellets and sunflower seeds, or we just feed the rabbit garden scraps. And then we have the chicken, layer chickens, and then in this one we have our baby turkeys. Oh yeah, and the ducks also eat the chicken layer feed as well. We do add brewer's yeast to it because I read that chicken starter or chicken feed doesn't have the same nutrition that the amount of nutrition that ducks need, and that you could add brewer's yeast to it, so for more B vitamins. So that's what we do. There's some brewer's yeast right there on top of that freezer. So we have all our animal feed here. I'm sweating so bad, like all my whole insides is sweating. I can't wait to take a shower. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me while I got this done. Definitely kept me accountable for doing this even though I didn't want to, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.